Hey digital artists, today I'm going to show you how we can create our own hybrid character using two characters from your favorite TV shows. So I already went ahead and I found my inspiration images. So I chose Lucy from the Peanuts and Helga from Hey Arnold. So I'm going to use elements from these two different characters to create a new character. And by now we already know a lot of different tools in Google Drawings, so I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to choose the tools that I think are the best to create my character. So what I'm really thinking I want to do is I want to use the Peanuts type of a character's body shape and then create a character that looks like Helga. So I noticed that she has like this yellow pigtails, the pink bow. She wears a white t-shirt and a pink tank dress with a red stripe and white shoes. So I'm going to try and use the Peanuts silhouette, but use Helga's characteristics. So I'm going to just start off with the curve tool, and I'm going to start to trace shapes from each character. I'm going to zoom in. That way I'll be able to get more up close and into the details. So once I'm done tracing something, I'm just going to move it out of the way. Okay, so while I'm working on this, you're probably thinking like, okay, we traced this hair section, but it's definitely not going to fit on top of the head. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to stretch it out and pull it down and try and, resize this shape so that it will fit my character's head. And if I'm looking at some of this and I'm thinking, yeah, I need to readjust some of these points, I can always just double click, move something around. I'm going to move it down. So I'm thinking about how these shapes might be layered. I want to make sure that the head and the neck are still connected. I mean, in this character, the head and the neck are kind of one shape, but I'm kind of making Helga into the peanut shape. So let's zoom out again. What I want to do is just move that so that everybody's fit inside a little square. Now what I want to do is come back in and I'm going to think about what shape I need next. I'm going to use the scribble tool to make the nose shape. I'm going to take that and move it over. gonna make some eyes. She has this really thick, long eyebrow. Actually, maybe I can use this. That was my alarm to let me know. I've already been doing this for more than 5 minutes. So sometimes our projects take a little bit of time. You'll have more than one class period to work on this. So I really want you to use your time wisely, thinking about how you can use the tools that we've already learned how to use to create your character's elements. So once you really start working, then maybe you want to start thinking about adding color. So I'm going to try to use, her hair is not that yellow. I need to choose a custom color. I think it's a little bit more like pale yellow, like that. That looks pretty much the same. I like that better. Nice bright yellow. And then for the skin tone, I need a custom color for the skin tone. And I mean, I'll be a little bit paler than Lucy. So to choose a skin tone, I'm going to come in between the yellow, the orange, and the red. And I'm going to kind of stay close to that top left corner near the white. And then, I mean, you really get a variety of different skin tones. So somebody who's a little bit darker, a little bit tanner, a little bit more warm, golden hued skin. So you can really go in there and play somewhere in the slider on the left. So in between the red and the orange and the yellow, you can kind of stay even like towards this top section, I think, or a little bit lower down. Not really, we want to try and avoid being in this bottom left corner because this is going to make the skin tone look really gray and washed out. So we want to try and stay kind of in this diagonal area. We don't want to be, or nobody's really skin tone is bright orange like a fruit. So we want to try and choose something that's going to reflect how this skin, there we go. I think it's a little too dark still, so I'll come back into the custom colors. I'll go closer to the white. I think that's a good match. Okay. So now we want to add that color also to her neck. Yep, there we go. Alright, now it's time to add some clothes. So I want to think about that. Peanut's body shape is kind of like a triangle, and most of the girls' dresses kind of flare out at the bottom. Her dress doesn't really flare out at the bottom, but we can make it that way. So I'll start off with let's start off with the shape of the neck, because that neck has like a collar shape. So I'm going to come over and I'll use the crescent moon shape. You can rotate it around, stretch it out, bring it up, shrink it down, try and get this exactly how I think it should be. Then for the sleeves, I don't like that. I could use a shape, but I'm just going to use the curve. And I want to just free draw. Duplicate it, flip it over for the other side. Make sure it's selected. That way I have 2 sleeves. And then on top of these, then I can put this triangle shape. And I'm going to use the curve. What I'll do is I'll just trace over here. Move it over. if I think there's something I need to adjust, I'll do it. Then I'll come back down and I'll make this bottom part of the skirt. Then I'll move it over. I also want to make this little stripe here, so I'm going to come back over. Maybe I'll use a shape for this. I could use this one. Let's try it out. Or maybe I'll use this one. I think this one will work a little bit better. Rotate it over. Alright. Now for the legs and the shoes. So she doesn't really have socks. Lucy has socks. We're not going to draw the socks. So I'll come over and get I'm just going to use a rectangle shape. I think that'll work for this. And go in and make my two little rectangle shapes for legs. I'll duplicate them. I'll press shift and click on both of them and use arrange, order, send back. So control shift down arrow key and I'll move them over to the center. Then I can use one of my favorite tools, the curve, to trace the shoes. So what I'm going to do is zoom in and scroll down to those shoes. Alright, we've got one of those shoes. I can move it over, and if I need to duplicate it and resize them, I'm going to start off with Control D to duplicate, and then flip it over with that format options, and then slide it on over. Okay, now I also need to do the arms. So one thing I know about the penis arms is that they're like usually really small, but Helga likes to fold and cross her arms like this. So I also forgot the mouth. So I could do the mouth like kind of how Helga has her mouth. It's usually like this pointed shape, or I could choose a simple smile. I think I need to make this kind of a shape. So I'm going to use the scribble tool. And now that I'm looking at the eyes too, I kind of need to have these eyelids coming down. So let's give her some eyelids. So we really want to think about how many details we're able to include in a picture. Oop. Oop. Nope, we want those to stay white, and then we need a new shape. I don't know about you, but these are starting to look like Family Guy eyes. So we really want to think about all of our characters' details and, really trying to make it authentic. So I want to make sure that if I need a custom color, I'm using a custom color. And if I'm looking through those pre-made colors and I don't see the color I need, I'm making it. I want to think about the elements of each character and how I can combine them together to make a new character. Oops, that's the outline color. So let's zoom out for a moment and just reassess. I also notice, I think her hair outline should be thicker. I think her shirt outline should be thicker. Her shoes. Okay, she still doesn't have arms, but we're getting there. I'm going to add some more details, like these little lines on the edges of her hair. And I'm going to go back in and click on those and make them thick too, using that border width. No, let's do thick. There we go. I also want to add this like little detail on the inside of her ear. I want to do that in one line. Yep, that looks good to me. Then I will add the arms. So Peanut's character might have arms like this. Their arms are usually small, but I think that's what I'll do for this. I'm going to use the curve. Change the color, lower it down, duplicate it, move it over, rotate it or flip it over if I need to, or maybe just move it down, and then you're done. Okay, so after I looked at the Peanut character's hands a little bit more up close, I'm going to actually come in and make these fingers a little bit shorter, because their fingers look a little bit more, rounded. I don't know, it might be a nice combination between these two, but I want to go in and I want to adjust some of these fingers a little bit, just a little bit. And this one is like very much pointed, like that. There we go. Just want to make them a little bit more smooth. Oh, I don't like that either. I think I had a good thing going. I'm going to just leave it alone. There we go. Maybe I'll flip it over. And that'll satisfy my issue with the fingers. Alright, I think that actually looks pretty good now. So I'm going to actually just use the text box and move my, to really finish my picture, I'm going to make my reference images on the side. I'll make them small because I don't need them anymore. Because my picture is really just of my new character. So I can take my reference images and move them to the side. Put my character here. Maybe center her a little bit more if there's any little scraps. There's a couple of dots, we can delete them, and then maybe we want to find a cool background. So we can go insert image, search the web, and we can type in Okay, so I went on Google and I found some background ideas. So I found this first one is like a Hey Arnold landscape. It's kind of got that house that Arnold lived in. I don't know if I like this one so much. I'm going to move it out of the way. Then I also found a really cool one that looks like from like a newer Peanuts movie. And I like this one because it's got this big open area, like literally just saying, put a character here. So now that I've got my background image set, what I want to actually do is grab all of my pieces, pressing shift and click on my keyboard. I'm done editing her. So really what I want to do is make sure I really click on all of the elements, every piece, the hair, each line on the hair. The eyelid, the eyeball. Why can't I click that little part? Of course, it doesn't want to let me do this now. And I want to use arrange group. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, no. Where did part of her face go? Lost part of her face. Great. I really lost some of those details. That's not fair. Okay. Yeah, so I did really lose those details. It's okay. It's fixable. We're going to move it over. We're going to fix it. Happen. It's all about how you go about solving your problems. Okay. That definitely looks better to me. Okay, now I'm going to go in and add my background. So I found this background image. And what I want to do is I want to right click so I can copy the image, bring it over to my drawing, paste it in. And what I'm going to do first, before I overlap anything, I'm going to select my character, everything. I'm going to click arrange group. Now, no matter what I do, no matter where I click, she stays together. I don't need this. I don't need this. I want to make this background fill up the space. I want to make my canvas the size of the whole picture. And then I can move her into it right there. Oh, she's behind. Arrange, order, bring to front, or control, shift, up arrow key. There we go. And that's my picture. It's Helga and Lucy. I don't know. What can we call her? Helgi?